Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you, September 2nd, 2025. I have all of your stories for your rush hour ride to work. I hope you had a fantastic Labor Day weekend. I'm sure you're feeling hungover on life and back to the grind. Today's episode, we have Bachelor rumors, who it might be. Also, some information on the massive lottery from last night. Did any of our audience win the $1.1 billion jackpot? Join the Patreon already. And then we'll get into Blake Lively, as it looks like Taylor Swift, according to sources, will be revoking her godmother status. Say it ain't so, Tay-Tay. And then some more drama happening at the U.S. Open and death rumors of the president. Well, he's got I guess a 2 p.m. press conference happening today. What the hell could it mean? We'll get into all of this. It's been a wild weekend. So these stories and more coming up next on The Rush. And boy, do we have to dive into all of this. We'll get to the Blake Lively stuff about midway through the episode. This was tweeted by The Bachelor. The new Bachelor will be revealed tomorrow night. That's tonight. The announcement will take place at the beginning of Bachelor in Paradise season finale. Our good pal, Reality Steve, has the announcement. He has all the spoilers for who's winning this season of Bachelor in Paradise. They have a prize up to $500,000, right? Whatever the heck that means. But can the show save itself? Who will be the next Bachelor? Well, how about this cryptic message from Jason Tartick? 2025 has been incredible. Won't ever forget this summer. Thrilled for the fall. Feels like 2026 will be the best one yet. Again, if they're going to want Jason Tartick, they're going to have to throw a lot of money at him. He's been doing very well financially with his reign from the show and also being engaged to Caitlin Bristow. Hey, ride those coattails, my guy. I get it. I rode my lady's coattails for a long time. And now she's a stay-at-home mom and she racks up all the bills on Amazon. I mean, life just comes at you fast. But aren't we here for that? All right. I've got an update to a wild story yesterday. And again, you got to be fair. But we called out, I guess, or, reported on the story of, Ellie Dobleski. And now in this story, it appeared as though she was friend-zoning her man here. The guy was like, you got a boyfriend? And she's like, no. And then she's like, actually, he's over there. And the audience thought they were catching her in this lie. Now, she did come off weird talking about how she has 2.1 million followers. I mean, I can't. Hey, I've only got 141,000 on YouTube, but if you hit the like button and help the algorithm, we could grow. Either way, here's her update. Some guy said, I'm the guy who was in the video. She wasn't lying about this situation. We have never dated. She only introduced me as her boyfriend to get out of an uncomfortable situation. And again, I don't know if that's true or not, but first of all, I found it weird because how do people not know if she's got a boyfriend or not? And also, why do I care? I'm 40 years old. I'm married with a kid. What does this matter to me? And I'll tell you why. I love drama and I love to get down to the truth. And I need to know if she's dating anybody. So apparently she was single. She told the guy, oh, that dude over there is my boyfriend. It was just a random dude giving her drinks. And the guy was like, yeah, I'm her boyfriend. And that's the end of that. Now, as far as was this guy a creep to her? I mean, he looks a little creepy, but that's just the British way. Now, I think he was being perfectly nice to her. She was the one trying to network with him. He told her she was cute. And I'm not saying that she couldn't take a compliment here, but what do you want? You approached a guy at a bar. They're all having a few drinks. He's going to shoot his shot, right? I don't know. It feels like that's the world, right? But she was uncomfortable, and it's like, okay, I don't know. Can't you just find love? All right, let's move it on. Here's some information regarding the lottery in case any of my audience members won. Have a listen.
What's the advice if someone is holding a winning ticket?
The client needs to understand it's necessary to put a plan together. It's more than a claim. A claim is just going up there, sign the back of the ticket, and submitting the ticket and your claim form. What you need to do now is put together a plan because we're talking about so much money. There's no do-overs. They only get one chance at this. It's not going to be $1.1 billion that the client gets. It's $500 million prior to after the lump sum amount. And then after taxes, it's going to be about $300 million.
I mean, you're basically broke at that point. You got student loans you got to pay off, your mortgage interest. No, listen, let me tell you what you do. You win the $1.1 billion. That turns into $500 million right away because you do the lump sum. That's $300 million after taxes. You take $250 million of that and you just throw it either in a money market account or, a good portion of that into the stock market. Now, the stock market could get tanked. You want to throw some in gold? You want hard cash? You want to buy an RV? In case you got to drive to a bunker? You got to think of these things, folks. People are coming for you. Now, I asked ChatGPT how to, just in case we have a pretty large audience, everyone's, spending $1,000 on lottery tickets, not me. I'm just trying to know whoever won. How to convince my audience at the Rush Hour podcast to give me half of their lottery winnings. That's it. Now, you don't have to give me half, even 1%, right? You win 500 million, you give me 5 mil. Just give me 5 mil off the top. So this is what ChatGPT came up with. Can I read it to you guys here? We'll have a little fun here. Again, I didn't write this. Don't get mad at me, but this is what ChatGPT would like me to do to try to convince you to give me part of your lottery winnings, assuming someone from our audience won the billion. All right, listen up. If you win the lottery, and I know one of you degenerates is going to win it, I'm so sorry for calling you that. I'm going to need half. Not all of it, not 3/4, just half. That's fair. Why? Because without me, you wouldn't even be hearing about the lottery. This is basically a finder's fee. Think about it. You win $1 billion, you keep it all. Suddenly, you've got every second cousin twice removed knocking on your door asking for money. But if you give me half, I become your human shield. They come to me first. I take the heat. I'll be the broke relative they all yell at while you're sipping cocktails in Aruba. And let's be real, you don't even know what to do with $1 billion. You're going to buy jet skis, a giraffe, maybe a Chili's franchise. It's all downhill from there. But me, I know how to invest. I'll put that money where it belongs. Costco runs, comedy flyers, babysitters, so I can keep making this podcast for you. That's the dream. So yeah, when you hit those numbers, and you will, just remember, God gets 10%, Uncle Sam takes 30%, and Dave Neal only asks for a humble 50%. That's charity, and that's your ChatGPT response. And hey, ChatGPT puts up a good point, but instead of that 50%, I'll settle for 1. That's $5 million. Or if you want to just pay me to never do the podcast again, you could do that. Or you could just pay me, and instead of doing the podcast, I'll just call you twice a day and tell you the news. Just me and you, just a one-on-one episode. All right, let's go. Does any of this make sense? Let's go to the U.S. Open. Very dramatic, the U.S. Open has been. Well, the Polish CEO who stole this hat has now apologized. So what you're looking at, and this happens every once in a while, a foul ball sitting in the baseball stands and some old man rips it away from a kid. Foul balls, home run balls, merchandise, that's for the kids. That's not for adults, okay? You give it to the kids. But here's what actually happened if you didn't see. So this kid, they're doing the signing the giant ball, they're doing this thing. Now this guy on the left, this is the Polish CEO. Now clearly, if you're looking, the player right here is trying to give it to this kid with the nice hair. But the Polish CEO yanks it right out of him. The guy doesn't know he's signing his autographs. And then the Polish CEO starts to stash it. He's trying to hide the evidence right away. This is the most CEO thing I've ever seen, okay? You don't get to the CEO position for nothing. You get to it by stealing cats from young children. That's how you get to be a CEO. No one else seems to care, but the camera caught it, and the camera doesn't lie. So the guy goes viral. And, of course, not for the right reasons. Well, this is what he said. A statement said, head of the Drogbruck stone paving company in Poland. He's a stone paver. Oh, but those stone masons out here, they get a bad rap. The CEO says he wants to unequivocally apologize to the kid and his family. Says he takes responsibility for his poor judgment and hurtful actions. Says he's never intended to steal Kamil Mashkrat's, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, hat away from a young fan. When Kamil handed the hat up, Piotr says he became caught up in the heat of the moment and the joy of the victory, and I believe that he was handing a hat to me to give to my sons who had previously asked for autographs. He says he knows he hurt the boy and many fans, and for that he's truly sorry. All right, so there it is. The hat was stolen by a Polak. We love our Polish listeners out there. But this CEO can kick rocks. This guy over here, oh boy, how entitled. Again, but hey, he apologized. But again, where was he in the moment? Caught up in the heat of the moment. I love how everyone just becomes fangirls. The guy's giving his sweaty jockstrap, and the CEO's like, oh, me, pizza day, me. Or Camille, whatever the guy's name is. Oh, but the U.S. Open delivers. Lots of drama for the U.S. Open. All right, take a quick break for our sponsor. Coming back, I'm going to get to our next story here, which is Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's coming next. All right, I never heard of Buc-ee's before until I moved to Tennessee. It's a rest stop. It's a giant rest stop. But I guess with Labor Day weekend, they did an expose on them. Have a listen.
A holiday weekend means a surge of business at Buc-ee's across the country.
Every time we go on a road trip, it's a staple. We have to stop at Buc-ee's.
No, you don't. You don't have to stop at Buc-ee's. You don't have to do it. Buc-ee's is like a Walmart with a gasoline store, but you get COVID.
For pitmaster Randy Pauly, that means overseeing what amounts to about the biggest barbecue in all of Texas.
Fresh brisket on the board.
To feed their 54 locations in 11 states with hot, fresh barbecue.
Now, I'm not trying to knock Buc-ee's. They've basically become such a good gas station rest stop that it's uninhabitable. You can't go there on a crowded weekend. If you're driving by a Buc-ee's on a Tuesday, swing in, knock yourself off. But if you're going to a Buc-ee's on like a holiday weekend, good luck not getting tuberculosis. And I'm not here to blame Buc-ee's for it. It's the savages that drive through there. It is a melee in Buc-ee's. They've got a merchandise section. They've got, food. Okay. Look, eat gas station food at your own risk. The food's good. It's not bad food. It's what you got to do to get that food. I'm an Arco guy. Okay. I'm a pilot rest stop guy. I like a place where, you can shower and do whatever you need to do. That's what I'm all about. But Buc-ee's, God bless you. Too big for my britches. All right, here we go. Americans aren't giving in to guilt tipping as much as last year. This is a sign that the economy's in a rough spot, that we're tipping less.
There is new research that shows Americans aren't giving in to guilt tipping as much as we used to. I wish that were the case for me. So we're talking about that awkward moment when you get a cup of coffee to go and the tablet right in front of the server and everyone behind you asks if you want to leave a tip. Well, more Americans are hitting no tip this year compared to last year.
Really?
So there's a recent survey from Talker Research, and it estimates that the average person now spends $283 on pressure-driven tips a year, down from $453 in 2024.
And here's the deal with tips, right? It's one of those things. Don't take it out on the employee. Tips suck. It basically lets an employer pay their employees less money, and they just pass it on to us. It's like a tariff, really. A tip is a tariff on the consumer. That's all it is. But I mean, I got some Thai food. I don't want to say the name of this place. I live near a great Thai food place, and I got the food to go. And let me ask you guys, what do you pay in a tip when you get food to go? I thought it was a flat 10%, which is still insane. You're getting it to go, right? But customary, you pay 10%. Well, I go to sign out and they're asking for 20%. So then I had to go to the option that didn't exist, which was the 10%. I'm looking super cheap, but it's like, babes, I just gave you $10. I just gave you $10 to put a few things in some styrofoam cups. What are we doing? You know what I mean? Just tell me the dang price. Can we get rid of, I would love it if we just got rid of tipping culture. Just got rid of it. We pay our employees a livable wage, and then we can all just know what the price is going to be. You know what I mean? All right. Anyhow, let's move it on. So, big stuff here. Not a lengthy story, but a dramatic one. And again, take it with a grain of salt. A tip on that. A salty tip. But Radar Online, who, by the way, I don't even know. Do we trust Radar Online? They seem to have a source, an exclusive, that Taylor Swift is revoking being godmother to Blake Lively's kids as pair's war goes nuclear after singer's engagement reveal. It's a wordy title. So there it is. And of course, could you imagine being the kids of Blake Lively? And in 15 years, when you're old enough, you realize that because of your mom's potential lies, you now aren't the godson or goddaughter to the greatest pop star of all time. I mean, talk about teardrops on my guitar. Am I right, boys? So either way, Taylor Swift, and by the way, is this not my best episode ever? Coming off this Labor Day high? I'm just batting 1,000 on this episode. Taylor Swift is preparing to sever one of the most personal ties in her feud with Blake Lively, with insiders telling Radar the pop phenomenon plans to revoke her role as godmother to the actress's children. Now the godparent traditionally doesn't have any task other than if the parents die, they then become the parents, right? But I don't know in how many cases that actually happens. Sad if it does, but it's traditionally, just an honor you give someone, right? The 34-year-old performer announced her engagement to NFL star Travis Kelce on Tuesday, August 26, one week ago, triggering a wave of congratulations from friends and colleagues. Lively remains silent. Supermodels Gigi Hadid, Cara Delevingne offered support within hours, and even estranged former ally Carly Kloss liked Swift's post telling the world she is getting hitched to Kelce. What's interesting with the Gigi Hadid stuff, now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Gigi Hadid, she's the one with Bradley Cooper, right? By the way, my Star is Born Bradley Cooper hair has officially come in. Could somebody superimpose my head onto Bradley Cooper from A Star is Born right now, please? We've got it going. It's all vitamin E. I'm just using vitamin E oil. Boy, you got to hydrate, folks. But either way, Gigi Hadid, assuming this is who they're talking about here, was the one that was slammed by Blake Lively's publicist. Why? Because according to the emails we've seen from James Vitoska and from Daily Mail, it's really unearthed the sort of proactive nature that Blake Lively's own publicist goes to not only smear others, but it's a way to protect your own client, right? Something's not going well for your client, smear someone else, get the attention off of them. This is bad. This is bad karma. Could all of the things happening to Blake Lively right now just be a result of bad karma? It catches up to you eventually, right? So Lively, 38, who was once one of the closest confidants, remained conspicuously silent. A source close to Swift said Taylor feels she has no choice but to draw a line. Their friendship collapsed months ago, and she doesn't want blurred obligations lingering. That includes her godmother role. She's already considering issuing a formal notice, either through a mutual friend or even a lawyer, to make it clear she's stepping away. Well, I didn't know you needed a press release. Now, and this is really sad because you have to imagine, like, kids generally are innocent, right? For the most part, they don't choose their parents. Spiritually, I do believe that your kids do choose you, they're as souls, which, my son chose me and my wife when we lived in Los Angeles. Next thing you know, we live on a farm in Tennessee, and he's like, I chose Southern California. And I'm like, sorry, we couldn't afford you. Either way, I digress. The point of what I'm saying is I feel bad for the kids, right? They don't know why Aunt Tay-Tay is no longer around. I'm sure Blake and Ryan aren't telling. And this just has to be such a tough scenario for Blake and Ryan's relationship. Maybe they feed off of it. I don't know. And I've considered this, like, who's the real, like, main culprit? Who's the catalyst? Is it Ryan Reynolds? Is he the one who pulled Blake into this competitive nature where they were using their own power and leverage? Or was Blake Lively this all along? We know from her Gossip Girl days, plenty of people have said she was a pain, a pill to work with. So it could be a culmination of these, sort of a perfect storm, we might say, of Ryan Reynolds' personality, Blake Lively's, trying to compete with the sort of the power of Taylor Swift. But by the way, you guys know I've been a big Taylor Swift fan for a long time. I respect her hustle, and I respect that there's no bad stories about her, other than you could say, well, she's quickly endangering the climate world because of her carbon emissions with the whatever. But the point is she's generally beloved by everybody other than her haters. But there's no she treated me bad. No, everyone who's worked with her said she slips you a whole bag of cash after she works with you. You know what I mean? Either way, no surprise that the formal godmother role will be revoked. I just didn't know you needed to get it in writing. The fallout between the two former pals began earlier this year when Swift was unwillingly dragged into Lively's bitter legal dispute. the fact that Swift was dragged into the legal dispute, not the big deal. The big deal is she was dragged in for two reasons. The first, when it was exposed that Blake Lively was using Taylor Swift as one of her quote-unquote dragons. Bitch, that dragon flew away. The chains broke off that dragon. Caw-caw! Whatever sound the dragon makes. And secondly, it was what is rumored to be an extortion attempt where Blake Lively, and again, this is according to the source, which was Taylor Swift's father, but the idea that Blake Lively was trying to coerce Swift to get her army to support Blake and be against Justin. Now, Taylor Swift is stuck between a rock and a hard place on this one. I don't think it's enough for Taylor Swift to just stand idly by. I think at some point she's going to have to stick up for Justin Baldoni if she knows that he's innocent in all of this. And again, I don't know what that information would look like if you're Taylor Swift. She's probably still worried that Blake's going to dump some of their private texts. My guess is, with your best friend, there are unbecoming texts, whether they're making fun of people, being crude, whatever the case may be. When you're Taylor Swift and you have private text messages, there could be a feeding frenzy. A second insider said Blake had tried repeatedly to get Taylor to have a conversation, but every attempt was ignored. She's now finally realized Taylor has moved on. Now she avoids bringing her up at all. It's as if she's wiped her from her world. Yes, Toots, I hate to say it. Taylor Swift got her man. She no longer needs you. This is what happens when you have a friend. If your friends aren't good friends, you just have to ditch them. You only have room in your circle to keep the good people. Speaking of very dramatic situations, it was rumored over this long weekend that Donald Trump might have had some health issues. There was literal rumors that he was not around anymore, and not unsubstantiated. They came because when people were looking for evidence that he was doing okay after several days of being off camera, so I guess his people posted a photo of him, which turned out to be a photo from months earlier. So folks were connecting the dots and thinking he might have had some problems. There were rumors that he had this heart issue that was making his ankles swollen, and there were other rumors that he was suffering from microstrokes, and which is why people haven't seen or heard from him in several days. Well, apparently this is all going to be resolved today, actually. So in here for the White House immediate press release that came out for Tuesday, the president makes an announcement at 2 p.m. What the hell is the announcement? Now, mind you, Congress comes back from their vacation. Welcome back, Congress. Did you enjoy Buc-ee's? I hope you all got diarrhea. Congress is back, and they can no longer hide from releasing the Epstein files, even though, of course, we're hearing from Ghislaine Maxwell that there's nothing wrong with Trump and the Epstein files. Everything's perfectly fine. Okay, fine. Then release them. Let them out. Now, the question is, were they releasing the files yesterday? This was spotted at the White House. Check this out. They spotted someone throwing trash or something out of black bags out of the second-story window of the White House. What the hell could that be? Is that where they keep the Constitution? In garbage bags as they just chuck it out? And it's like, what's going on out there? Maybe they're doing some renovations and the stairway was clogged up. Who knows? I need to know what's in those bags. Is that the Epstein file? We'll find out maybe today at 2 p.m. I'll have all of your updates this afternoon if you want to join us on the behind-the-scenes live stream. We do that every day, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Patreon.com/Dave Neal. You can go over there if you want to see how the sausage is made. Later this week, I'll be doing my first YouTube memberships live stream where I'm going to be answering all of your questions on how to get your content creation going, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. We've kind of had our channel be our professional income for 5 years now, when we figured it's time to crack open some of the secrets. So if you want to join the membership, you'll get access to all of that information. Let me know if you have any questions, and looking forward to chatting with you guys. We're going to make that like a bi-weekly thing where we kind of just give you information. We'll audit your channel, general advice for getting started, types of equipment I use. I think the best advice I can give is trying to reach you at your core, like what makes you interesting and unique. That's what it all comes down to, is how can you bring your unique self to the internet? There's only one of you. There's only, and you know, when you pour some gasoline on that metaphorically, this is the perfect time to get the ball rolling for 2026. It's right around the corner. All right, so we'll be talking about that later this week. Stick around. We'll be back this afternoon. God knows what that big announcement's going to be. We'll try to cover it. We'll see you then. I'm Dave, and this is The Rush.